I'm glad we came here.
You know, and I think our grandparents, Opu and Opa, Otto, especially Opu, she never got over that she lost all her grandchildren and her children, and when we immigrated, it was a time we'll never go back. Well, she died.
I have all those letters yet that Mother wrote to Tante Adrie.
And maybe we could say something about what these people were and.
Yeah, why? Yeah, because they don't know their great-grandparents were dirt poor.
I don't think
We were dirt poor. We were dirt poor, but they were even dirter poor.
Yeah, for instance, your grandfather.
Which one?
He lived with a family, they claim, of 6 or 7 kids.
Yes,
Okay, he was born. He was born in that family, the 6, 7 kids. He was the only one who was dark. All other ones were purely white. So when that woman died,
His mother,
his dad said, "You ain't one of mine. Something wrong here." He was 7 or 8. He kicked him out of the house.
Yeah, he got 11 or 12.
And that's only they 7, 8-year-old kids. They kicked him out of the house.
Yeah.
and
But
then
then one of the uncles.
his uncle.
But we also should tell why we immigrated.
Well, we emigrated
Why did they
because
go?
Poverty.
Mom wanted better in life. Uncle Tom said, it's so much better here. And first we were going to go to Australia. You know, I learned all this from her because she lived with me.
Oh, okay, she lived with you.
Actually, it was a toss-up because we were ready to go to Australia. Did you know that?
No.
No,
We were ready to go to Australia, and then Uncle Tom wrote and said, no, you got to come here. I found you a sponsor. So that's what we did.
Well, that was the big thing.
Now you immigrated.
Well, no, but that's some of the reasons why we immigrated.
Right.
No money, bottom of society,
Yep.
and several stories came from the United States. Gold is laying on the sidewalks there.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong when you come here.
But
That's why we came.
And
But I remember Mother saying on the bus when we went through some of these villages, and there was some poor areas there, and she said, "Now is this America?" Remember it? Remember her saying something like that?
No.
She was a little disappointed because she did
Wow.
not see any gold on the street.
But you know, she
No, but
told me.
there were opportunities here.
Yes.
After the Second World War, Europe could not get their economy together.
Right.
They could not do it. Until maybe 15 years later. But they believe they couldn't do it.
Well,
So
remember
immigration was.
when we went in 79 to Holland, Tante Antje had just then gotten indoor plumbing.
Yes.
Just then had
It's hard to
indoor plumbing.
believe. In 79, way up in front.
Right, and Dad and Grace and I were walking, and she was so scared of dogs, and he was holding our hands, and the boat was going like this, and this little dog come running at Grace, and she just freaked out. She let go of Dad's hand, started running down to the front, and the boat is tipping that way, so she is rolling all the way to the edge, and then the boat went this way, and she rolled towards the other side, and I didn't know Dad could run that fast. Man, that he moved like the wind.
No kidding.
Yeah.
There were 2 people on that boat, 2 crew members, they were bitter enemies, and they were the cook and the captain.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And the cook came up to me one time and he says, "You got to greet the captain." I says, "Okay." And he says, "That mean you got to tell him he's a mooie meneer." That means a good sir. So he says to me, "You call him son of a bitch."
English,
okay.
Yeah.
And so I went to the captain and I said, "Good morning, SOB." And I'll tell you, that captain turned red. So he says, "Who told you to do that?" And I said, "The cook told me to say good morning to you," and in Dutch that means "mine here," you know. But I'll tell you, that wasn't the end of it. The captain went to the cook, and from there I don't know what happened.
What is your memorable thing when you first came on shore, Mark? Do you remember?
Trying to get a hold of Uncle Tom.
When we were in this bus, we were traveling in a bus.
Yeah, I remember that, kind of.
And these white people, there weren't enough seats. These white people kept on standing up, while in the back of the bus were all these empty seats.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure out why in the world aren't they sitting down. Well, we finally found out it was the segregation, you know, the back section was the bags. And the whites, they would rather stand up for hours. They would not go in there and sit in the back.
But we did, because I remember
And we didn't know any better.
we were laying on the back seat because we drove 33 hours. Remember that?
Well, because I was
I
not
know.
into it.
And Mom put, that's fine, some of us, you little ones, on that one long back seat.
Wow.
How Mother survived all that
Well, remember,
is beyond me.
She was tough and young at that time.
yes, she
Yeah, but she
told
must have
me
been totally
when
stressed out.
we got off the boat, she needed to use the bathroom. So she was headed for a bathroom, and because of segregation, you have black bathrooms and white bathrooms. And she
I don't
headed
remember
towards
that
the
either.
black one, and a woman grabbed her and said, "No, you go there."
Oh, yeah.
I
We had
remember
no
that
idea
too.
why.
The first English word that I remember was woman, you know, W-O-M-A-N. And there too, I went into the black one and you couldn't do that.
No, even drinking fountains, it was just incredible down south.
And we had never seen black people to speak of. I vividly remember when I came here, now I was thinking to myself, I had never seen a bathtub in my life. So I get on this boat and they somehow or other got me into this bathroom with a beautiful square tub, beautiful green water. I took a bath in it, got out of it, and saved that water for the next person.
Well, that was not so uncommon. We used to do that all the time.
Yeah, but not on a luxury line.
Not on a luxury
Remember when we were on Bates and we walked into this mansion to us? Yeah. And I remember I'll never forget it. I walked up those steps and they had this bathroom with this thing in it, which was a toilet, but I didn't know that because they had the outhouse. And accidentally I pressed the handle and the water went down. And I pressed it again and again and again until Mom said, "Grace, that's enough." That fascinated me.
Yeah, wasn't that an impression when we went to that house?
Oh,
That
And we had a stove and
a
fridge
stove
in
and
it.
we had
food
Yeah,
in it.
did
Remember
that.
that?
and
Food.
dishes that matched.
And we had living rooms, and we had our own
Bedroom.
I mean, for Pete's sake.
Yeah, it
And
was
then
amazing.
we went to Uncle Tom's after that, and I thought, well, we're in a castle. They were in a castle. Remember how big we thought that house
I always
Alto,
loved
yeah.
that house they
Huge.
had though. That
It
was a
was
nice house.
Yeah.
But don't forget, everybody didn't live like us, not in the old country either.
No.
No, no.
There were well-to-do
no.
good people there too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But we just didn't know any.
Ed and
Well,
Brenda,
that's the plan.
Ed's parents,
Should have
they
never
don't know
come
why they
here.
came here because he made a good living there. That's true. Not everybody was poor like
We were never hungry in the war.
No, we were never
No.
really hungry in the war, no.
I can honestly say we never starved, but we just got enough to eat.
except
But
for Wilma.
there were a lot of people who didn't get enough to eat.
That's
Yeah,
true.
Mark,
Like in the
remember
big city.
when Wilma and I had to go to the soup kitchen,
yeah.
and we dropped the pail on the street.
Oh, yeah.
And we slushed it all back
We
in.
slopped it all back in. Oh, Mark, was that after the war?
Yeah.
Okay.
But when you're hungry, it doesn't make any difference.
No, when you're hungry, you don't eat anything.
Anything.
That's right.
So you had to, what we used to do is walk along the railroad track, picked up pieces of coal, but that wasn't enough, and all the big trees in that whole village were cut down. You either cut all the big trees down or you die in the winter, you know, that's basically how, then there was no food. I remember a lot of these people coming from the big cities, you guys probably don't remember.
No, I don't
that.
remember that.
We had troops
I
in our
remember.
And they were
house.
pretty poor, they would knock at your door, begging for a slice of bread.
Huh?
Don't you remember that?
Oh
we
man, I
always
remember
saw that
seeing the
stuff.
boxes falling out of the plane. But the Germans intended to starve us.
No, it's not the point. The
This
Americans
is
said they
after
will
the
only
war.
drop it if you give it to the Dutch.
The Germans said that?
The Americans said that. And the Germans, and the Germans said, we don't have food for them either anymore because we're starving as well. And they did. That was,
and you know.
I remember especially Tesla next door. They would come, and sometimes we would say to those people, well, you eat it right here, because they would take it and go to the black market and sell it.
Oh, really?
No, and Nellie Tesla, she would come out with a slice of white bread, pure snow white to me, with a little sugar and butter. And if you were really good that day, she might give you the crust. That's how bad.
Where'd they get the bread?
They were
on
rich.
the black market.
And Mom got white bread because Mom was sick, right? And then you could go to this bakery and pick up a loaf of bread, which we had coupons for, and it was not wrapped or anything. So now I was to pick that up, and when I came back, I had eaten all the crust around the oven. It was white and so good.
That could be, because...
We did not live in the Midwest during the war.
I'll bet you we did. I bet you during the war we moved.
No, I don't know, because she was talking about a bullet that got shot through the brick.
Yeah, I remember that was in the war. That was in the
war.
That was in the
Wasserweg.
A bullet shot through the brick?
Yeah, because they didn't have the
shades down
on the windows, and the reason for that was when the airplanes, the British and the American airplanes would come over, it was difficult for them to find out exactly where they were. They couldn't see any lights.
So you had to have your...
That's what that was for. But did you know they had that here too? Yeah.
And if you didn't have them completely covered, then the Dutch, the
Germans?
No, the Dutch.
The American, not the American.
No, the Dutch, the NSB'ers.
Yeah.
NSB'ers, those were the Dutch people, that is the national socialistic movement.
Yep.
And those were the people that were kind of in favor of the Germans.
Right, right.
Oh, really?
And if you joined that, then you would get
more food?
More coupons to buy food with.
Really?
So some people did it, although the Gereformeerden and Christians, they were very, very anti-German. There was a couple people in our church that were also NSB'ers, and they would walk around sometimes with a pistol, and if it wasn't shut up, you know.
Through your house?
Oh yeah. Pow!
Yeah.
Oh, their neighbors, the Hollanders, the NSB'ers were
traitors.
traitors.
I mean, they were traitors.
Yeah, basically traitors, yeah.
They didn't have to ask you if they could come in or not.
They said, will you please close it? No.
No?
Hey, this was a tough time.
Yeah.
But once the war was over, though.
But the next night, you made sure you had it properly.
Yeah.
Well, don't you think once the war was over that they were like outcasts? Nobody wanted to associate with
Yeah,
them.
they shaved their heads?
You know,
They shaved their heads, and then you had this big,
Orange X on it.
Oh, I didn't, and how
the swastika?
Yeah, that's what it was supposed to
And
be.
parade them through the town.
Yeah, I even remember that, and I was
You remember some of that?
maybe 4 years old, but I can remember them standing in this big wooden wagon with sides, and they came down
Because one of them lived right across from us in the Wasserweg, remember? What was
Bates.
the name? No?
Bates of Boekenstein.
No,
Elsinga.
across from us.
Was he seen
Was it
Johnny
Elsinga?
Elsinga was one of them?
That was one of them, yeah. I still see him picking her up.
No kidding.
They would shave them completely.
Yeah.
Of course, some of these schools were pretty tough. Some of them came laughing back.
But you know, the women would get like nylons and chocolates and stuff. They didn't mean to be traitors maybe, but they still were. If you...
But if you look at what kind of an impression that made on you, because they were traitors and they were hauled out of the houses, and I remember they struggled and struggled.
Some of them, oh yeah.
I've never forgotten that.
Wow.
Yeah, but it still goes on today. I mean,
Oh,
not
yeah.
you.